What's good, y'all? I am Lonnie Appleton. I am a healthy family advocate, which means I advocate for the health and the wellness and restoration of our families and ultimately our community, ultimately our society, ultimately the world. So, what I do daily on live, Monday through Saturday, if time permits, I do have other obligations. I read the Bible. I read the Bible from what's between this cover and this cover, and I read it so that we can derive meaning from what we read in the Bible and apply it to our present day. And according to our interpretation, not the interpretation of others. I do it just simply so that we have a community. I know a lot of people are out there, man, I want to read the Bible, but, the Bible's boring. So why not do it with your girls? Why not do it with your bros? Why not do it with your friends, So that's what we're doing here. I'm not here to argue the validity of the Bible. I'm not here to argue any interpretation. Everybody is welcome to share their knowledge within the chat. It's also a great place in the comment section as people arrive to introduce yourself, welcome everyone, and get to know the people in the comment section, because what is really beautiful about this network and this community, so if you're not following, follow. But what's beautiful about this network and this community, it's a network in a community of like-minded individuals who are focused on healing, truly healing, not staying the same and calling it healing, but actually truly healing, doing the work, restructuring their families, reprogramming themselves, healing their relationships, and reparenting themselves in relation to their children, setting up the next generation for success, even though the previous generation did not set us up. So that's what the content is about. And we are on Numbers chapter 15, supplementary offerings. Yesterday was an emotional read. Numbers and after Genesis, so in between Numbers and Genesis, the Bible really hasn't offered us too much because it's all been about laws and offerings and all these different things. And it looks like we're about to go into it again. But yesterday's read was very emotional for me and really gave me an opportunity to reflect and apply what's happening in my present life with what was transpiring with the Israelites in the desert. I am in the midst of researching Harriet Tubman. No, not a deep dive, just to, watch a couple of videos on who she is, because I feel like I am embodying her spirit at this moment, in the respect that I am here to wake you all up to know that you are presently enslaved. You may not know that you are, because that's the beautiful mind trick of it all, but you are enslaved. And someone argued on one of my posts on Facebook where I said there is a distinct, there was a GIF that someone posted, and it said, let's be clear that the ass... This is from Billy. Okay, please shut my door. The spanking generation did way better than the timeout generation. And so I wrote a post in relation to, all we're doing is repeating behaviors, and anyway, that's not the point. Someone argued that no, the reason why we're not actually causing it, the cause of it is the slave masters caused it. And I was just like, well, who's going to stop causing it? At what point are we going to stop replicating slave mentality in our homes? We must take ownership. We can acknowledge the root. Yes, it is the programming. It is the slave mentality that was beaten into us. Understand, slavery wasn't just bondage and free labor. Slavery was encapsulating the mind, encapsulating the heart, encapsulating every aspect of the being. So yes, they physically released the Israelites, and they physically released Black Americans from slavery. But that does not mean that they released the minds. That is something that we have to do. I was listening to Harriet Tubman's story today, and she was actually married to a man who was a free Black man in America. And when Harriet, who was a slave, went to her husband, because every once in a while they were allowed to congregate, when she went to her husband and she was like, yo, I'm about to run, he was like, well, I'm not. He didn't want to run because how comfortable he was in his free slave state. He wasn't worried about getting more. So we have to understand when we hear the Israelites grumbling, talking about, we should have never left Egypt. We should have never left Egypt. It's because what they are facing in a free state compared to what they were facing, and I'm going to keep it G, like, we are in present day slavery, but it's not like slavery then. There's eras of slavery, right? In the 2024 version of 2024 version of slavery is not the 1800, 1900 version of slavery. So when the Israelites are in the wilderness and they're like, man, we should have never left Egypt. You know, we have food to eat. We had we had the bare necessities. And when they're out in the wilderness, you have to understand when God takes you out into the wilderness, God is going to disconnect you from everything because God has to get you to restructure everything. So that's why I know half of y'all out here talking about y'all healing, y'all ain't healing, because when you truly are restructuring and rebranding yourself, you must be separated and isolated. And you are walking with God, which means God is creating the space for the separation and the isolation. Same with the Israelites. So when Harriet Tubman went to her husband and he said, yo, I'm good, Harriet had to keep going. She lost her family because her family was unwilling to release slave mentality. And that slave mentality still exists in us as a people today. Some of us are still unwilling to leave behind the comforts of just enough. A lot of us are living in the comforts of just enough. And one of the spouses are going to the other spouses and saying, hey, there's more. But because in the space of the slave mentality, I have to believe it before I see it. Yeah, there may be freedom up north, but I ain't gonna risk it because it's just enough is okay. So what the Israelites went through, what Harriet Tubman and the slaves of the time went through, is what we're going through right now. We are waking up to realizing that our minds have been enslaved. Not our bodies, our minds. Our spiritual beings have been enslaved. Hey, Miss Tay. We're waking up to that reality. But if as we as a couple, we as a family, if only one of us is waking up to the fact that we've been enslaved, even worse, one of the people in the relationship are spiritual. But you have gravitated to a space that is beyond what is being largely promoted as spirituality to us. So now you're fighting with somebody who thinks they know, because most spiritual people are unwilling to grow because this is my spirituality. So they shut off everything and they don't even realize they do it. So when you wake up to the fact that we are still trapped, but I think I figured out a way, right? Nobody's done it before. I think I figured out a way. And they fight you tooth and nail because they want to stay in just enough, good enough state. And that is what Moses is facing. That's what Harriet Tubman was facing. And that is what each and every one of us who is trying to move our family forward, present day. Hey, Eva. Everyone who is trying to move, who is actively moving ourselves, our relationships, and our family forward, this is what we're facing. We have woken up to the fact that we are trapped. And that is the parallel that I have made from the Israelites fighting Moses. Slaves, Harriet Tubman's husband was like, nah, I'm good. I'm staying. Harriet Tubman. And now you, waking up and realizing there's work to be done. And our families fighting us. So this book isn't too far behind or too far off that it cannot teach us based off of the history that's in this book. So with that said, That's a working theory. I'm going to make a video on it that will probably be more fluid. But I just figured this out. So I was like, oh, I got to tell the people. So it's a little, trying to connect the, thank you, Eva, trying to connect the dots. But get the information out there to those who are listening. Keep waking up. Keep rattling the cages. Keep letting people know that they still have our minds trapped. They still got us. And as long as they have our minds, they have cut us off from consciousness, which means we cannot truly elevate into God consciousness and truly heal that which needs to be healed and restructure that what needs to be restructured. Chapter 15, Supplementary Offerings. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, after you enter the land I am giving you as a home, and you present to the Lord food offerings from the herd of the flocks as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, whether burnt offerings or sacrifices for special vows or freewill offerings or festival offerings. Then the person who brings an offering shall present to the Lord a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of olive oil. With each lamb for the burnt offering of the sacrifice, prepare 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering. With the ram, prepare a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with 1/3 of hin of olive oil and 1/3 of hin of wine as a drink offering. Offer it as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. When you prepare a young bull as a burnt offering or sacrifice for a special vow or a fellowship offering to the Lord, bring with the bull a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with 1/2 a hin of olive oil, and also bring 1/2 a hin of wine as a drink offering. This will be a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Each bull or ram, each lamb or young goat is to be prepared in this manner. Do this for each one, for as many as you prepare. Everyone who is native born must do these things in this way when they present a food offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. For the generations to come, whenever a foreigner or anyone else living among you presents a food offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, they must do exactly as you do. The community is to have the same rules for you and for the foreigner residing among you. This is the lasting ordinance from the generations to come, for the generations to come. You and the foreigner shall be the same before the Lord. The same laws and regulations will apply both to you and the foreigner abiding or residing among you." The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you enter the land to which I am taking you and you eat the food of the land, present a portion as an offering to the Lord. Present a loaf from the first of your ground meal and present it as an offering from the thrashing floor. That throughout the generations to come, you are to give this offering to the Lord from the first of your ground meal, offering for unintentional sins. Now, if you as a community unintentionally fail to keep any of these commands the Lord gave Moses, any of the Lord's commands to you through him, from the day the Lord gave them and continuing through the generations to come, and if this is done unintentionally without the community being aware of it, then the whole community is to offer a young bull for a burnt offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, along with its prescribed grain offering and drink offering, and a male goat for a sin offering. The priest is to make atonement for the whole Israelite community, and they will be forgiven, for it was not intentional, and they have presented to the Lord for their wrong a food offering and a sin offering. The whole Israelite community and the foreigners residing among them will be forgiven, because all the people were involved in the unintentional wrong. But if just one person sins unintentionally, that person must bring a year-old female goat for a sin offering. The priest is to make atonement before the Lord for the one who erred by sinning unintentionally, and when atonement has been made, the person will be forgiven. One and the same law applies to everyone who sins unintentionally, whether native-born Israelite or a foreigner residing among you. But anyone who sins defiantly, whether native-born or foreigner, blasphemes the Lord and must be cut off from the people of Israel. because they have despised the Lord's word and broken his commands. They must surely be cut off. Their guilt remains on them. The Sabbath breaker put to death. Somebody done broke the Sabbath, y'all. While the Israelites were in the wilderness, a man was found gathering wood on the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering wood brought him to Moses and Aaron and the whole assembly, and they kept him in custody, because it was not clear what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, "The man must die. The whole assembly must stone him outside the camp." So the assembly took him outside the camp and stoned him to death, as the Lord commanded Moses. See, that don't seem compassion, that don't seem forgiving, that don't seem loving. So when it sits here and says that I'm trying to find it. Anyway, I can't find it quickly. But it talks about, how God is this great being, but okay, here it goes. Numbers 14:18. The Lord is slow to anger, abounding in love, and forgiving sin and rebellion. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation. This man was out. That doesn't seem like forgiving. It doesn't seem like slow to anger, and it doesn't seem like abounding in love. So it's just a contradiction. So we accept contradictions. Hey, we accept contradictions in our life. Why? Because our God is a contradiction. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak." Hold up. Where are we at? Korah there. Where'd the guy die? There he died. Tassels and garments. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, throughout the generations to come, you are to make tassels on the corners of your garments with a blue cord on each tassel. You will have these tassels to look at, and so you will remember all the commands of the Lord, that you may obey them and not prostitute yourself by chasing after the lusts of your own hearts and eyes. Then you will remember to obey all my commands and will be consecrated to your God." Consecrated to your God. "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God." Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Who wrote this one? Or better yet, who translated this one? This is an NIV, New International Version. This Bible came into my house because my son is a Christian, and he gave it to his father and told him he needs to read it. And so it was in our house, and I picked it up because God told me to read the Bible. So that's where this Bible came from. And that is the extent of my knowledge of where this Bible came from. But it is a New International Version, Zondervan, I'm believing, published by Zondervan. That's all I know. Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Korah, son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and certain Reubenites, Dathan and Abiram, sons of Elib, and On, son of Peleth, became insolent. They was up to some mess. All right. And rose up against Moses. With them were 250 Israelite men, well-known community leaders who had been appointed members of the council. They came as a group to oppose Moses and Aaron and said to them, "You have gone too far. The whole community is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is with them. Why then do you set yourself above the Lord's assembly?" When Moses heard this, he fell face down. Then he said to Korah and all his followers, "In the morning the Lord will show who belongs to him and who is holy, and he will have that person come near him. The man he chooses he will cause to come near him. You, Korah, and all your followers are to do this. Take censers, and tomorrow put burning coals and incense in them before the Lord. The man the Lord chooses will be the one who is holy. You Levites have gone too far." Moses also said to Korah, "Now listen, you Levites. Isn't it enough for you that the God of Israel has separated you from the rest of the Israelite community and brought you near himself to do the work at the Lord's tabernacle and to stand before the community and minister to them? He has brought you and all your fellow Levites near himself, but now you are trying to get the priesthood too? It is against the Lord that you and all your followers have banded together. Who is Aaron that you should grumble against him?" Then Moses summoned Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, "We will not come. Isn't it enough that you have brought us up out of the land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness? And now you also want the Lord. Okay, here we go. And now you also want to lord it over us? Moreover, you haven't brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, or given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Do you want to treat these men like slaves? No, we will not come." Then Moses became very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not accept their offering. I have not taken as much as a donkey from them, nor have I wronged any of them." Oh man, you see people getting, hey Carby, you see people getting real worked up in these streets. You know, people will agree to follow you until they start thinking they know better than you. And instead of just saying, okay, this relationship is over, I'm going to go in my own direction, now they got to oppose you. Nah, we grew as far as we can grow together. Go in peace. You don't have to become my enemy. Just grow in peace. Then Moses became very angry. Moses said to Korah, "You and all your followers are to appear before the Lord tomorrow, you and they and Aaron. Each man is to take his censer and put incense in it, 250 censers in all, and present it before the Lord. You and Aaron are to present your censers also." So each of them took his censer, put burning coal and incense in it, and stood with Moses and Aaron at the entrance to the tent of meeting. When Korah had gathered all his followers in opposition to them at the entrance to the tent of meeting, the glory of the Lord appeared to the entire assembly. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, I'm going to get close because it's about to get gully. What the Lord said to Moses and Aaron: "Separate yourself from this assembly so I can put an end to them at once." That's what God said. Go on, stand over there real quick. I got something to do. All right. But Moses and Aaron fell face down and cried out, "Oh God, the God who gives breath to all living things, will you be angry with the entire assembly, even when only one man sins?" Then the Lord said to Moses, "Say to the assembly, move away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." How they describe what the Lord looks like yet? No, we haven't made it that far, I don't believe. No, I don't. I think I remember if I finally know what God looks like. So I don't think they've described it yet. But yeah, he said, get away from Korah, Dathan, and Abiram's tent. So apparently it's about to go down. Moses got up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He warned the assembly, "Move back from the tents of these wicked men. Do not touch anything belonging to them, or you will be swept away because of all their sins." So they moved away from the tent of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Dathan and Abiram had come out and were standing with their wives, children, and little ones at the entrance of their tents. Oh, the whole family about to get swept up. Hold on. Then Moses said, "This is how you will know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things, and that it was not my idea. If these men die a natural death and suffer the fate of all mankind, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord brings about something totally new, and the earth opens up its mouth and swallows them with everything that belongs to them," man, if I was his wife, I would have scooted so quick, "and they go down alive into the realm of the dead, then you will know that these men have treated the Lord with contempt." Let's see what happens. As soon as he finished saying all of this, the ground under them split apart, And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them and their households and all their associated and all those associated with Korah together with their possessions. They went down alive into the realm of the dead with everything they owned. The earth closed over them, and they perished and were gone from the community. At their cries, all the Israelites around them fled, shouting, "The earth is going to swallow us too!" And fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering the incense. Oh man, I thought they was going to make it because Moses and Aaron got face down and was like, yo, not everybody. Everybody got it. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, to remove the censers from the charred remains and scatter the coals some distance away, for the censers are holy. The censers of the men who sinned at the cost of their lives. Hammer the censers into sheets to overlay the altar, for they were presented before the Lord and have become holy. Let them be a sign to the Israelites." I kind of want this in an audiobook. So I repost my lives on, not like it's an audiobook, but that would be fun to actually read the Bible. I've been speed reading through this stuff though. I'm gonna keep it G. It needs to be an ephah and a cubit and a da-da-da. I've been speed reading because I'm like, Lord Jesus, this is boring, but this is good. This part is good. But I repost all of my lives on YouTube, Lonnie, Lonee, Appleton, Appleton, live, Live. So you can get from Genesis all the way up to what we're reading today. And we just have some really good conversation in the midst of it all. It's not just us reading the Bible, but it's really making sense of what we're reading, according to me, right? And then the comments that we have here, but really just giving us a place to start thinking. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the love. So Eleazar the priest collected the bronze censers. Can you imagine being the person that got to walk through the 250 dead bodies to pick up the censers? And brought by those who had been burnt to death. And the people were burnt to death. Like, I've seen the burnt people on TV. I mean, I've never seen a burnt person, but I could imagine what they look like. Yes, welcome to the community, friend. We are a bunch of dope humans. So Eleazar the priest collected the bronze censers brought by those who had been burnt to death, and he had them hammered out to overlay the altar, as the Lord directed him through Moses. This was to remind the Israelites that no one except a descendant of Aaron should come to burn incense before the Lord, or he would become like Korah and his followers. I'm going to keep it G. I wouldn't even be messing with God. I would be as far to the back of the camp as could be. I ain't even looking in the direction of the tent after I done seen everything go down at the tent, after I done heard everything that's going down at the tent. You ain't got to worry about me doing nothing. The next day, the whole Israelite community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. Oh my gosh. What we grumbling about now? Let's see. "You have killed the Lord's people," they said. No, they didn't. The Lord killed them people. But when the assembly gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron and turned towards the tent of meeting, suddenly the cloud covered it and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron went to the front of the tent of meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, "Get away from this assembly so I can put an end to them at once." And they fell face down. See, they still trying to what's the word? Intercessory. They're still trying to, run interference on behalf of these people. This is some good-hearted people. This is the turn the cheek 77 times. Like, yo, So I was having a conversation with a mother who is, working, I'm choosing my language, who is working to connect with their child. Because once you stop running your house through control and you actually have to get to know your children and your spouse, but we're talking about parenting, you actually have to get to know your children, and in getting to know them, now you know what makes them tick. And so now that you know how to make your children tick because you figure out their wants and their needs and what makes them feel good, I used to say the word manipulation, I'm not sure if that comment is in relation to what I'm saying, but I used to use the word manipulation, but because that word has such a negative connotation, my daughter was like, we got to find a different word. So she actually Googled, synonyms to manipulation, and we found a better word. But yes, pretty much you figure out how someone ticks so that you can reach them, right? So that you can now push your agenda, because as a parent, I don't care. I have an agenda. I am raising these children in accordance to what I believe to be real. Before, it was the iron fist, God, inflexible love, so my way or the highway. And now it is, okay, we're still going to do things my way because you're offering no other solutions. Like, I have a solution. I hate to use, my middle finger. We'll use another hand. I have a solution. How things have been, they have no solution. And I don't know if I'm holding up a symbol, but I'm trying to use my hands to demonstrate because I don't have my whiteboard. I have a solution. How things have been, no solution from the child or the spouse, but we're talking about the children right now. So, are we going to continue to do things how things have been? Are we not going to do anything at all? Or are we going to do the only solution on the table? So we're doing the solution on the table, and I don't even remember why I got on this, but I do have a point that doesn't have to do with what I was talking about earlier. We have so much kickback because Moses is the only one offering a solution. Everybody has come to Moses and said, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't like this. We got our families coming to us and our kids coming to us saying, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't like this. And we're like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I don't know, but I don't want to do this. Okay, well, we got to do something, because we know that being enslaved in Egypt ain't the lick. We know how this house has been running ain't the lick. So until you want to sit down and come up with some goddamn solutions, we doing what I want. But I'm figuring you out so that I can speak to you and work with you in order to plant my seeds, my own agenda. I still couldn't walk myself back to why I started talking that. But I was talking to a mother, and she's experiencing difficulty with her child. I am as well, trying to get them on agenda. Let me rewrote what I wrote. But the assembly, then the Lord front tent a meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, get away from this assembly so that I could put it into him. And okay, so Moses keeps being an intercessory. Moses keeps advocating for them. Moses keeps showing up for them, even though they're fighting Moses. We keep advocating for our children. We keep showing up for our spouses. We keep coming back, even though they are fighting us, some of them violently. But Moses keeps showing up. Moses keeps falling face down and saying, God, give him another chance. So what I would say to this mother that I was speaking to, who is working to reach her children, what I would say to myself as a person who is working to reach my children, we must keep falling face down and asking God to help, first of all. But also, we can't give up on our kids. And I've already expressed I'm ready to give up. I'm like, dude, you ain't getting it. I done tried this backwards, forwards, up and down. I'm doing the opposite, but you know what I'm saying? I done tried I flipped it inside out, and I still can't reach this kid. And I'm just like, I quit. But we can't. We know we can't because it's our child. Like, we can't give up on our kid. But it's crazy sitting here reading this and how we can make the parallel to our present reality, where every time these people mess up, Moses is like, give them another chance. And we got to keep doing that with our kids. Every time they mess up, give them another chance, because we are their God, right? Manipulation. I like you, Eva. You like to talk in the chat. Conversation is great while reading, and no, I can't imagine that. Man, yeah, we got to talk about this stuff, because if we just sit here and read the Bible, how are we going to apply it? Like, we got to get this off simultaneously. It's not do and then do later. No, we got to do this simultaneously, because it got to make sense in the moment. That is what I have learned as a parent Like, my kids will be in the middle of a back and forth. I won't call it an argument. My kids will be in the middle of a back and forth, and I will say, okay, stop. What you just did right there. And they're like, Mom. I'm like, now they're okay with it because this is just how we run. But you'll see some of my videos that I'm starting to post now that I've had this, because our life is a classroom, which means I got to address this right now. I can't address it later. You remember when I need to, right there, what you're doing? That's exactly what I'm talking about. So now they have a completely tangible frame of reference. They know the energy in their body. They know everything that's happening in association with feedback they received about a behavior that they need to correct. And so, we got to talk about it in the moment. We can't talk about it later. We got to make sense of this in the moment so that we can walk away from our Bible study geared up and ready to go. Synonyms, and your child is smart as all get out. Man, my kids be out here. Yeah, I love me some Bailey. She's my buddy. Like, genuinely my buddy. I'm working to have that relationship with all my children if they allow. Well, this is what happens in discussions. So, like a defense lawyer. I don't even know what a defense lawyer does. Agreed, and I don't even have kids. Well, you're going to be ready after this. After this content, you're going to be ready. You're going to come in Mother of the Year. Yeah, we got to... The thing is, Eva, and the beautiful thing is, when you get this awareness before you have kids, you don't have to walk it back like me, right? I have done severe damage to my children, not because I was a bad mother at all, but because of the way that we were programmed to raise our children in our community. We're messing them up. And we're creating distrust. And so now when I'm coming into a space that says, you can trust me, this loving, forgiving, slow to anger God, you can trust me now. My kids are giving me the side eye because they're like, no, because for the first 11 years of my life, I couldn't. So why am I going to start trusting you now? So now I have to walk it back. So the beautiful thing about you, if you do ever have children, you're ready. You come in off top, truly manifesting love, truly being a source that they can come to, truly being a friend to your child. I'm working it out now. Lord willing, we gonna get through it. But my mom still helps me. Beautiful mom. I love a good mom. We get it eventually. It took me till the 30s. I was about to ask you what was your age range, but you said till the 30s. I'm going to pass, but if this happens, this lesson does help. I don't know what pass means, but maybe you left, but I appreciate your contribution. Whatever part of the lessons you ever catch is what you're supposed to catch. That is the beauty of this. God is going to deliver the messages, and I am just simply the messenger. And whatever part of the entirety that you do catch, that was yours. Just always catch the replay on Lonnie Appleton Live on YouTube. Then Moses said to Aaron, take your censer and put incense in it along with burning coals from the altar, and hurry to the assembly to make atonement for them. Wrath has come out from the Lord. The plague has started. So Aaron did as Moses said and ran into the midst of the assembly. The plague had already started among the people, but Aaron offered the incense and made atonement for them. He stood between the living and the dead, and the plague stopped. But 14,700 people died from the plague. I told you I would have had my behind in the back of the camp. My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it. I'm just mad at y'all because y'all keeping me from the promised land, but I ain't said nothing. I'm making my sacrifices when I'm supposed to make my sacrifice. I got a little alarm clock I done configured so I ain't late for nothing that I'm supposed to do. I am playing the game. Y'all ain't getting me wiped out because y'all don't know how to act. I'm going to keep it G. In addition to those who had died because of Korah. God dang Korah. Then Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance of the tent of meeting, for the plague had stopped. I'm in my 40s, just turned 2 years ago, and it is fun. Hot mess. I love my 40s. This is the best years of my life. I can't wait until 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I could go at 90. But I can't wait because I finally woke up. So can you imagine if we had this 40 awareness in our 20s? Like I enjoy my stinking trifling 20s. I'm going to keep it G. But can you imagine would I have been boring if I had this awareness in my 20s? Because I don't want to be boring. Like, what fun is in my 40s and what I'm loving about my 40s, I don't know. But I do wish I had this in my 20s. You would think this is a logical response. I can't wait for 80s because I just want to cuss everyone out. Oh, you think I'm raw now? I'm going to be extra raw in my 80s. And I ain't going to pretend to smile while I'm doing it. But we going to be the healthy cussing people out. We going to get people so put together that we going to plant all these seeds in their hand. And they be like, I want to be upset, but I think you just uplifted me. Yeah. I can't wait I cuss people out now. I cuss people out and I just silence them because they ain't got nothing to say. Because I hit them with that logic. I'll be like, look, okay, I hear what you say. But how about this? And they just be mad. That is I'll be cussing folks out. But I cuss them out. I'll be like, boop, planting seeds. Boop, boop, boop. You're going to be better after this conversation and you ain't even going to know it. You're welcome. Chapter 17, the budding of Aaron's staff. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and get 12 staffs from them, one from the leader of each of their ancestral tribes. Write the name of each man on his staff. On the staff of Levi, write Aaron's name, for there must be one staff for the head of each ancestral tribe. Place them in the tent of meeting in front of the ark of the covenant law, where I met with you. The staff belonging to the man I choose will sprout, and I will rid myself of this constant grumbling against you by the Israelites. That's right, man. Just going back and forth. Like, Moses parted the Red Sea. Like, hold up. Did it say something about either this generation will not remember what the miracles that I did, or this generation, the generation that was present for the miracles, will not make it into the land? I don't remember, and I don't feel like going to find that verse. But I was just saying, I was like, yo, Moses did a whole bunch of stuff up in Egypt that was just like, I don't know who this man is, but this man ain't right. He ain't like the rest of us. Like, he's chosen. Like, Moses has proven that he's chosen. I don't understand why they keep questioning it. Like you said, that's the logic of it all, but So Moses spoke to the Israelites, and their leaders gave him 12 staffs, one for the leader of each of their ancestral tribes, and Aaron's staff was among them. Moses placed the staffs before the Lord in the tent of the covenant law. The next day Moses entered the tent and saw that Aaron's staff, which represented the tribe of Levi, had not only sprouted, but had budded, blossomed, and produced almonds. Then Moses brought out all the staffs from the Lord's presence and all of the Israelites. They looked at them, and each of the leaders took his own staff. The Lord said to Moses, put back Aaron's staff in front of the ark of the covenant law, to be kept as a sign to the rebellious. This will put an end to their grumbling against me, so that they will not die. Moses did just as the Lord commanded. Y'all see, every time they say, Moses did as the Lord commanded. Moses did what he was told to do, and he is not experiencing thy wrath. Thy wrath. The Israelites said to Moses, we will die. We are lost. We are all lost. Anyone who even comes near the tabernacle of the Lord will die. Are we all going to die? Duties and priests and Levites, chapter 18. So basically, I had to think of a better word for what Moses was doing. Mediator. Yes, he's mediating. Thank you. I'm happy because I was just like, yeah, he's mediating. He is the go-between, the bridge. Boom. Chapter 18, the Lord, thank you for that. The Lord said to Aaron, you, your sons, and your family are to bear the responsibility for offenses connected with the sanctuary, and you and your sons alone are to bear the responsibility for offenses connected with the priesthood. Bring your fellow Levites from your ancestral tribe to join you and assist you when you and your sons minister before the tent of the covenant law. They are to be responsible to you and are to perform all the duties of the tent, but they must not go near the furnishings of the sanctuary or the altar. Otherwise, both they and you will die. Dang, Aaron even got to be present and he getting wiped out. They are to join you and be responsible for the care of the tent of meeting. See, this is some crazy stuff. All the work at the tent, and no one else may come near where you are. These kids don't listen. I don't know what was going on back in the day, but Aaron could die because people related to him's disobedience. My child is instructed not to use the washer and dryer. Dre has to get up at 4 a.m. and he's getting ready for work, which wakes me up. And I'm like, okay, I can start this load, because when I tell you this laundry has been a monster, y'all already know. But y'all know all my latest videos, y'all don't see no laundry in the background. Because I've been keeping up until I haven't kept up. And it was a mess. Like, the whole house was just a dirty clothes, big pile of dirty clothes. But that ain't the point. I told Angel, do not use the washer and dryer. I go and I'm getting ready to start my jeans. And I'm like, but the dryer's running. Did somebody do? I open the dryer. It's Angel's clothes because she's doing a personal load. Okay. You're being disobedient. So could you imagine if we got taken out because our kids don't listen? I would have got taken out because she want to wash laundry even though I done told her not to. Aaron could get taken out because someone related to him ain't doing what they supposed to. Thank God they knew how to be obedient back then. I wish I knew what they was doing, because my kid would have got me taken out for some laundry. I learned from your kid, oh yeah, this is a different word for that. Ha ha, well, I am proud of you and I still have loads of clean clothes on the floor. Same, friend, same. But we working it through. If that thing is there tomorrow, we gonna talk, but we gonna be done with it today. It's just hard to watch K-dramas and fold laundry because I gotta read subtitles, So I just gotta let stuff play in the background. I'm trying to catch up on my K-dramas. You are to be responsible for the care of the sanctuary and the altar so that my wrath will not fall on the Israelites again. I myself have selected your fellow Levites from among the Israelites as a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord to do the work at the tent of meeting. But only you and your sons may serve as priests in connection with everything at the altar and inside the curtain. I am giving you the service of the priesthood as a gift. Anyone else who comes near the sanctuary is to be put to death. Dang. I'm surprised there are any people left. He just take them out. Oh, you breathe too loud. Oh, you blinked when you weren't supposed to. Offerings for the priests and Levites. Then the Lord said to Aaron, I myself have put you in charge of the offerings presented to me. All the holy offerings the Israelites give me, I give to you and your sons as your portion, your perpetual share. You are to have the part of the most holy offerings that is kept from the fire. From all the gifts they bring to me as most holy offerings, whether grain or sin or guilt offerings, that part belongs to you and your sons. And that's why 99% of these pastors go into preaching, because it is the hustle. People literally work hard as hell. I didn't mean to use that word, hard as heck. Go to church on Sunday and give of the little they do have in hopes that it'll do something, and the pastor take it all, riding around in a Bentley, living in the big ass house, living life, traveling, hanging out with celebrities and stuff, achieving celebrity status off of your dime. Eat it as something most holy, and I'm not saying that this is what that is. I'm saying this is what they have figured out. It's a pimp game. It's just another way to get money up out of them. It's another way to work and manipulate. That is a manipulation, friend. People. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Not all of them, but some of them. Eat it as something most holy. You know the difference, because if they stop growing you, then that's no longer your teacher. There's plenty of people who have grown me and I've outgrown their message. The moment I outgrow their message, it's time for me to move on. Not that this is your church home, so you need to stay here. No, I've outgrown your message, so I'm going to grow in peace. I need to put that on the shirt. Grow in peace. This also is yours Whatever is set aside from the gift of all the wave offerings of the Israelites, I give this to you and your sons and daughters as your perpetual share. Everyone in your household who is ceremonial clean may eat it. I give you all the finest olive oil and all the finest new wine and grain they give the Lord as the first fruits of their harvest. All the land's first fruit that they bring to the Lord will be yours. Woo-wee, and them first fruits, I done wrote thousands of dollars of checks behind some first fruits, so I know them checks is chunky. Everyone in your household who is ceremonially clean may eat it or spend it. 2024. Everything in Israel that is devoted to the Lord is yours. The first offerings of every womb, both human and animal, this is offered to the Lord, is yours. That's what it says. But you must redeem every firstborn son and every firstborn male of unclean animals. When they are a month old, you must redeem them at the redemption price set at 5 shekels of silver, according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. They had to pay to have babies? I got to reread that later. But you must not redeem the firstborn of a cow, a sheep, or a goat. They are holy. Splash their blood against the altar. So you killed them and burned their fat as a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Their meat is to be yours, just as the breast of the wave offering and the right thigh are yours. Whatever is set aside from the holy offerings the Israelites present to the Lord, I give to you and your sons and daughters as your perpetual share. It is an everlasting covenant of salt before the Lord for both you and your offering. The Lord said to Aaron, you will have no inheritance in their land, nor will you have any share among them. I am your share and your inheritance among the Israelites. That's interesting. I give to the Levites all the tithes in Israel as their inheritance in return for the work they do while serving at the tent of meeting. Hold on. Let me put a little... My kids have taken to writing me letters, so this is a letter from one of my children. Eva, you ain't missing out on nothing. I'm going to just say that. Okay, I have a question to ask my mom about this one because she is a biblical scholar. Don't get her up in here. She gonna be mad at me. I'm out here butchering the Bible. But it's all so that we can grow. This is all so that we can grow. From now on, the Israelites must not go near the tent of meeting, or they will bear the consequences of their sin and will die. It is the Levites who are to do the work at the tent of meeting and bear the responsibility for any offenses they commit against it. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. They will receive no inheritance among the Israelites. Instead, I give to the Levites as their inheritance the tithes that the Israelites present as an offering to the Lord. That is why I said concerning them, they will have no inheritance among the Israelites. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Levites and say to them, when you receive from the Israelites the tithe I give you as your inheritance, you must present a tenth of that tithe to the Lord's offering. There's where the tenth came from, right there. Boo-da boo boo boo. Your offering will be reckoned to you as grain from the thrashing floor or juice from the wine press. In this way, you also will present an offering to the Lord from all the tithes you receive from the Israelites. From these tithes, you must give the Lord's portion to Aaron the priest. You must present as the Lord's portion the best of the holiest part of everything given to you. Say to the Levites, when you present the best part, it will be reckoned to you as the product of the thrashing floor of the wine press. You and your household may eat the rest of it anywhere, for it is your wages for your work at the tent of meeting. By presenting the best part of it, you will not be guilty in this manner. Then you will not defile the holy offerings of the Israelites, and you will not die. Finally told us how we will not die. We done heard a whole bunch of ways that we can die. We finally heard how we cannot die. All right, tomorrow we will read the Water of Cleansing, chapter 19. That was some stuff, wasn't it? You know, and that's the beauty of us sitting here reading is, you know, it gives us questions. And that's why I grew up under the understanding you don't question God. You don't ask no questions. You just take this thing at face value or what the preacher says. And now, coming to the space of, this book isn't associated. Oh, thank you. We are here every day, Monday through Saturday, 12 noon. It is 1 p.m. presently, so an hour ago, and we read the Bible. If I have to work, then I don't read, but I'm committed to reading online live with you guys, so I don't read ahead in my private time. I just make, But yeah, I do it like I told you guys. The last 3 days of 2023, I fasted and I prayed and I asked God for things, so I shouldn't get discouraged because I know. Anyway, I get it. Leave me alone. Not leave me alone, but I get it. Okay. And God told me to read the Bible on live. So that's what I do. And I just ask questions, and that's what we're here for. We're not here to create our own narrative. We're not here to, like I said, argue the validity of what's in it. We're just here as regular people trying to make heads or tails of this and how we can structure our lives. So that's what we do. Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Mount Standard Time. I repost on YouTube, Lonnie Appleton Live, for anyone who has missed anything. I would get that shirt. Let me write that shirt down. Grow in peace. Yeah, I have merch. This features my art, but I have merch with my phrases that I use, as well as my art and just dopeness that can be purchased at LonnieLifestyle.com. I also am a 2-time author, so I have an urban fiction book, the Domino series, which is spicy, and it's 20-year-old spicy. So if you're into that type of debauchery, I can't even read that book now. I'm like, but if that's your jam, you can get that at LonnieLifestyle.com. I also have My Evolution and My Spiritual Awakening. It's a guidebook, so pretty much the steps that I took to break myself free from the mental slavery of the third dimension, or the present physical reality. What's the best that can happen? That's also available on Amazon. Just make sure the seller is Lonnie Taylor, or directly through my website, Lonnie Lifestyle. I am a coach, I am a mentor, and I also do energy worksheets, which are downloads from higher consciousness to help you work through whatever it is that you're working through. So just finding a space in relationship with God as a spiritual being. There's a place for us too, right? We should be able to use this as a resource for us too, simply because our relationship looks different. So that's why I'm here. I have seen it so many. Let me read your comments, and then we will go about the rest of our Saturday. Let's see. I have seen so many cases these past 5 years about pastors. And it's like the huge ones, right? It's just like, yo, charlatan, you're a charlatan. Here's what I came up with false prophets. If every Sunday you're showing up to a pep rally, but you're truly not growing, then that's someone who figured out how to capitalize on God. If it's a pep rally every Sunday, and as soon as you get to the parking lot, you just like, you turn into that Goofy, when Goofy would go between his two personalities, and when he would start driving, he turns into this thing. If when you go to church, you feel good, and then you go through the rest of your week, and you're like, you're not growing, which means whoever's up there that you're giving your money to is not doing what they're supposed to do, because that is not what healing is. And that's what you should be giving your money to, someone who is helping you heal. Like, oh my God, gratitude, energy exchange. I don't have anything to give, but here, let me shop your merch, let me donate, let me let me support you because you're helping me. Because look, even I'm not comparing, I'm not a pastor, but what I'm saying is I give to those who help me. You know what I'm saying? So when I first disassociated from the church, because when I was in the church, I was led to believe that the only way that you can give is to the church. The law of giving and receiving means you just tap into the energy of giving. You know, you give in the area of lack. But the church, for me, painted it in a way that God only accepts or recognizes, and I don't know, they might have been right because God don't play. I'm just joking. But, you know, God only recognizes that which was given to the church. And so when I disassociated from the church, I was like, well, who the heck I'm supposed to pay my tithes to now? So just as I journey through and I find someone who's saying something that makes sense to me, you know, I find out a way to donate to them. If they're selling something, I buy from them, you know, those types of things, because they fed into me. So how can I feed into you? How can I support you because you helped me? Just like if a pastor helps, here's my 10%, you know, if somebody helps, here's my offering. So that's how I started paying my tithes, so to speak, or my offering, or just sowing into other people. So yeah, they really want to paint it to like, you can only give to me. It's a racket. And that is okay. I would get that shirt. I am going to make it, okay? I have a question to ask my mom. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. She is a lovely, she has a lovely disposition. She suffers me. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you have that with your mother. And I'm so happy that you have your mother. I really am, because prior to establishing the relationship that I have with Bailey, you know, contrary to what may be displayed in our present relationship, we haven't always been friends. She was over there and I was over here. So we have worked to get to this space, but because we didn't have all of this, and, you know, her heart was never closed off to me, because I definitely did some things for her to close her heart off to me. But her heart was never closed off to me, so I was able to walk it back, and we're able to be in this space. But prior to Bailey, I didn't grow up with the mother, so I never had that. I never valued that relationship, right? So now that I have this relationship with Bailey, I know what it is to have that relationship with your mother. And so when I say I'm so happy that you have your mother and you have that relationship, I truly am, because I know what the blessing is of it. Okay, that part about the 10th, I would think of what was happening at the time in the world. Damn, I wish I kept up with my comments. That was fun. I agree. God made me the questioning. For questioning, I love questions. I've made it this far in my life because I'm why? I'm a who, what, when, where, why, how, and where. Who, what, when, where, how, why. What, who, what, when, where. There's a sixth one, and y'all know what it is. It is come join us during the week too, if you can. Yes, please come join us, because we just be out here partying in the name of the Lord. Partying in the name of the Lord. We'll try work, and I do enjoy it. Okay, my mom has one of experience, and I think that is why she doesn't mind my questions. It's beautiful. You have to be able to, if you cannot go to your most trusted source, which should be one of your parents, right? They raised you, so you should be able to be vulnerable there. You should be able to be vulnerable there and ask questions, and they should be excited to grow you, right? I'm looking at this word as I say that. They should be excited to grow you, you know? I love when my kids come to me and ask questions, because I'm like, they're actually open and receptive to what I have to say. You know, oftentimes as parents, we're coming with the knowledge, or even we're coming with the knowledge. It doesn't always have to be this way, but you know, we're coming with the knowledge. But when they come to you, that means you really could get saucy with it. So yeah. And an artist, well, I like you, and my mom probably would too. You got me to listen to the Bible. Oh, go tell mama I got you to listen to the Bible. Now, I'm not affiliated with any religion. This is why I was just like, when God told me, and once you get familiar with my content, you're going to be like, God told me to read the Bible. I was like, get somebody else to do it. You ain't about to get me. They about to start getting the wood, cutting down the tree, you know, rallying, because they going to not be too pleased when they find out about me. A person like me reading the Bible. But why can't I read the Bible? I have this. Why can't I have this? you. Boom. So, yes, I have many skills, my friend. It's like staying in therapy too long. Yeah, yeah. Um, I went to therapy twice. But I went to therapy once, and at the end of my sessions, the therapist said, actually, you taught me. I was like, I'll never need another therapist again. Like, the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm thankful because I have a place that I can freely theorize in, which is what I do here. I theorize. That's all I do is run theory. I ain't solid on nothing. People want to argue with me, and I'm like, you're right. I ain't solid on nothing. All I know is the truth. And at present, there's infinite truths, right? There's infinite. It's 111. It's infinite truths. Go ahead and take my picture real quick. It's infinite truths. So I'm just running a possibility, because if I start running these possibilities, it can make, like, I don't agree with that, but that piece made me think. And now you can take this piece and combine it with your piece, and now you just grew yourself. So I'm not here to push any agenda. I'm here just to, whatever pops in my head, spout it on video for people to consume, and make sure you tell your friends. And they could start growing themselves, because at present we just think, I can only learn and I only know and I'm within the confinements of this. No, this world has infinite possibilities. I can speak for myself, I have the Black American woman, poverty, middle class, all the labels. That's the experience that I have, which means that my perspective is based off of my experiences. And if I limit my world to my perspective, which is based off of my experience, I have already cut myself off from the rest of the world. So if somebody else comes into my field of awareness and they're offering other thoughts and ideas, I would owe it to myself to listen, because they have a different experience than me. But I could grow from that. I don't have to go live their life. I could just listen to them. And when I listen to them, I could pull out the pieces that resonate with me, throw the rest away, because I ain't got to listen to everything nobody say. Don't ever do that. That's dangerous. Throw the rest away and then continue to grow myself without having to go through what they went through. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for. That's why we're mirrors. That's why you're here listening to me. That's why I'm here talking and conversing and reading your comments and responding to them, because you're growing me and we're growing each other at the same time. We ain't got to be, 100% in agreement, but if what you said sparked an idea and what I say sparked an idea, we don't have to agree with each other to grow ourselves. And that's how we're mirrors. My ties goes to my community. My ties is my time sometimes. Yeah, whatever you have to give. Like helping widows and veterans when I am off work. Man, there's this woman's shelter that I keep saying that I need to figure out how to link up with. Thank you. It took us 84 years. I'm joking, but we are best friends. As long as you made it there. As long as you made it there. You know what I'm saying? And for you to say 84 years, that just makes me think of, things that seem insurmountable. It's not insurmountable. It's just going to take time. And when you are dealing with different humans, especially with restructuring our families, when you're dealing with other humans, then it's the willingness of the parties. You know what I'm saying? I can only move as fast as my husband is willing to move, if he's willing to move. I can only move as fast as my children are willing to allow me in, if they're willing to allow me in, which is what I'm experiencing right now with this restructuring. My children and my husband are my child, and my husband is only willing to let me in as far as they're willing to let me in. And that's why they say you can't force someone's spiritual evolution, because they have to elevate to a consciousness to where they even understand what I'm saying. Which means I got to dig them out of these holes, my children. I have to dig them and walk back all the trauma and the resistance that I created. And then after I walk all that back, now I can start feeding into you. But I can't even do that until you're ready and willing. So I cannot force that. I just have to be patient. So 84 years later, and here you are. Besties with your mommy. Oh, I done messed up. Y'all in here having a whole conversation without me. I'm trying to catch up. Always love what you have to say. Thank you. What is Wit State? Thank you, Wit State. I appreciate you, friend. I'm always running my mouth. I'm still in therapy, and that for me is okay for right now. Whatever you need. Whatever you need. Pick up my book if you're able to. What's the best that can happen? And hop in my DMs. Ask some questions. You know what I'm saying? We're here to support each other. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason why any of us are out here trying to figure it out alone. When we are the most powerful beings. You might be a black woman, Eva. I can't tell. But if you are, if you're not, you're still gang. But what I'm saying is, black women are the most powerful beings walking this earth. We are the oldest because black can make white, white can't make black, Caucasian can't make nothing but more Caucasian. But that's another conversation. But woman can make man, man can't make woman. Therefore, the black woman is the oldest being walking this earth. So with that said, there's no reason why we can't elevate ourselves enough within ourselves to be able to heal ourselves and to heal each other and to move each other to our highest elevation. But if what you need is what you need, you go get what you need. I told my husband, you need to call the number on the back of that insurance card and go and get you a therapist. I don't know what's going on with me. Take your ass to therapy. I am not. My cousin is a therapist. I wish she wasn't my cousin so I could take my ass to her. So I'm not anti-therapy. I just am. That therapist let me know that it's going to be the rare human that can actually help me heal because I know how to heal myself. So that's all that is. You catch that 111. I do catch that 111 every time, don't I? And I really just be minding my business and I look up and I'm like, all right, 111. There it goes. I do catch it. I'm gonna do a montage of all my 111s while I'm on live. Same. I've been going consistently for 4 years. I'm going on maintenance now. Yeah, you know. It's a science. Healing is a science. Healing is mathematical. Healing is a methodology. Once you learn the methodology, you can heal yourself, which is what we do here. We teach each other how to heal. But the self-mastery necessary to strip yourself to bare bones, most will be unwilling to do. Because it's truly, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. And most people are not willing to do that. Because the moment you check yourself, you have to begin correcting yourself. You can no longer live in the dysfunction. Once you recognize it, you can't live in it anymore. So, healing, true healing, is an undertaking most people will run from. But it's mandatory, it's necessary. Where this world is headed, where this world is presently, we're not headed anywhere, we are in it. It is mandatory. It is happening whether you're on it or not. So it will behoove any of us to figure this out. Because this pacification that we've been in thus far, which is a part of the continued manipulation and the slave mentality, if I just hold on to something that could just keep me holding on, and please, I am not saying anything against therapy. Do what you need to do to be okay. But understand that there is a level of self-healing of self that you can grow past being okay. I know because I've done it. I've done it. And I documented it in my book. Yeah, y'all got to see a little cooch right there, y'all. Ain't nobody ever seen a coochie before. Now you seen mine. Spirit told me to make my bed today, but I was like, nah, they ain't gonna get to see my bed behind me because I'm gonna be sitting here. What's the best that can happen? I wrote this book in 2013. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't write this book. I downloaded this book. I can't write books. I've tried, even though I'm an author. Both books that I have written were channeled. They were given to me. I've sat down year after year after year trying to write books. I cannot. Now I can journal for days. I truly use this book, and what I was doing for a while was I was doing a book club with this book. But no one showed up to my book club, so I stopped doing it. But I understand a book is only as powerful as your ability to be able to use the tool. And because I utilize the things in this book to heal myself, it is because it was given to me, which means while you're giving it to me, you're teaching me how to use it. So what's in this book truly does work. What's in this book truly can change your life, but you also have to know how. So get the book, hop in my DMs, book a coaching session if necessary, but I'm not one of those people who sells knowledge. Now, it is my desire for my gifts to support me and to create the reality for my family that I desire. So yes, but you hopping in my DMs and asking me a question for clarity, I don't sell that. I'm here for us to grow and to grow together. Same, I've been going, change is difficult. You done said it, friend. Real difficult. Yeah, I think that's where I am right now. Look at y'all talking to each other. Go on, follow each other and see if there's some connection there. I have grown so much internally because of watching Lonnie's videos. Thank you, sis. Yes, we do the work. We do the work. That's what we do. We may sound crazy. We may look crazy. Why? Because ain't nobody ever done what we doing right now. We are reprogramming ourselves. We woke up to the fact that we were in the midst of a mind fuck and we are reprogramming ourselves. And everybody on the outside is like, oh, you crazy. I'll be crazy. Call me crazy. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. Goodness, that's my grandma. Ha! I love grandma. I love that you have a relationship with your family. Please tell me how you do this, how you talk to almost no one. Such an inspiration, because I just, friend. I know, right? So when I first started going live, Ree's been around. Ree is an OG. So Ree has been around since my first live and is still around for this live. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, truly. In the beginning, I paid attention to the numbers. In the beginning, I paid attention to the views. In the beginning, I paid attention to the followers. I know people are like, you got 12,000 followers and I only got 6. It doesn't matter. Because once you set a goal and you achieve that goal, you set another goal, right? So just because your goal is my presence doesn't mean that I don't have another goal. My present doesn't mean I don't have another goal. I used to pay attention to all of that, but then I realized what I am out here doing is not for me. This is God divinity. I'm just the messenger. And it's frustrating because it's just like, this is viral worthy content. We are literally changing lives and nobody's watching. Nobody's on the live. Why am I still showing up? Honestly, because God told me to and I'm being obedient. You already saw what God does when people ain't being obedient. I ain't crossing them. I ain't crossing them sands. But yeah, I just don't pay attention to it. I don't. I know that if I touch one, I did my job. I know that this message, because I'll get off of a live and it'll say you had over 200, 300, 400 viewers. Okay. What I'm talking about is so specific. And I understand the coding of it all, right? I'm not just out here kikiing with my girls for views, right? But it does bother me when that number drops. but I live with it. And I also know that what that number says isn't actually who's in here. So in my mind, there's a million people in here, because if that number is inaccurate by one, how do I know it's not inaccurate by a million? In my head, there's a million people here. But I also know people pop in and they'll catch what they need to catch and they go about their business. Because what I am doing is delivering messages and speaking to a question that one person had at the time and they happened across my life. Think about it when you're thinking about something, when you're connected and you understand that Spirit is sending messages, because there's a point in our lives where we are completely disconnected and we don't know what's going on. But once you reach the space where you understand Spirit is constantly sending messages, think about it when you log onto your social media, the video that is on your screen is answering your question. So when I think about the people who watch my videos, they're only popping in for what they need at the time. Thank you for the love. They're just popping in for what they need at that time, and they hear it and they bounce out. And I also know that because I will be on other people's lives and I'm like, this live is good, but I gotta go. But when I was there, I got what I needed. So that's how I deal with it. Caden! Michael, leave your brother alone. Caden, stop yelling. This is one of our resources that we neglect. So we're sharing the television, right? Okay, but I'm not going to have a conversation with you until you stop whining. So when you return to your regular voice, we can have a conversation. Okay, so he won't listen to me. And I say I am using the TV. He always say, so when he wants to watch the bed, and then he'll use the TV. Okay, I understand. I don't mean to cut you off, but I understand. Michael, come here. He wants to always do it then. I understand. Michael, come here. Yes. Was Caden watching the television and you took it from him? So yes or no question? So yes or no question? Yes or no? No. No, he was not watching TV? He was, but the video ends. Okay, so we're not going video by video. It is presently 1:28. Caden can watch TV until 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, you can take the TV and you can have 30 minutes. Why are you out of your bedroom? I don't want to see you. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So, Caden, you can watch TV for the next 30 minutes. I want Caden to use the TV now because I'm using my TV. Okay, so Caden can use the TV, and then in 30 minutes, you can go back and use the TV, or you can continue on your Kindle. Whichever you choose. Just please shut my door. But you're going to be done by... Doesn't matter what Mommy's doing. Mom has nothing to do with the TV. But can I do some reading until you're done? I don't know. Stop pulling on my door handle like that, though. Appreciate you. Sorry, that's the content. The content is I got to raise these kids while being a creative. Time is one of the resources that we neglect, man. If we knew the next second wasn't promised, I bet you we would probably value it more. I was using therapy as a crutch. I'm actually doing the work because I was ready for change. Yeah, when you're ready for the actual change, it looks different, right? Oh yeah, that can be a thing. Yeah, it is, where it's just like, okay, this just is a passive church. There's this guy who was my husband's friend, and my husband has shared some things about me and, you know, how he is barely living half the time. And he was like, well, now I go to church and da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, church, I'm speaking lame, candidly to you guys. But pretty much what I told him, I was like, church is just a Band-Aid. You need to actually get into your Bible and get to know God for yourself. Sitting in that pew is just going to make you feel good. But once it stops making you feel good, you're going to start feeling like crap again. So you have to do the work. And then he ran back to my husband. Your wife told me to stop going to church. I was like, this is why I don't talk to motherfuckers. Lonnie posts her lives. Thank you, Ree. I am still asking. I'm sorry, I'm so behind. I'm going to stop going into these long, drawn out It was cosplay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Love. Thank you, Ree, for helping me answer questions that I am behind. Because Ree has been in the trenches with me for a very long time. That's where I am right now. Okay, hold up. Same, I've been going. Okay, hold up. Okay, I done went way too far. Please, time. I use post lives on YouTube. Lonnie Appleton Live is where I post my lives. That makes more sense. Nobody comes on my lives and I'm like, what to say? I just be talking to myself. I got out my head because in the beginning I was like, I'm talking to myself. But I was like, what's the difference between talking to myself on live and talking to myself in a video? Like, if I get down in front of my camera and I'm like, all right, y'all, let me tell you, I'm talking to nobody. And then I post it and hopefully people view it, but it's the same thing with live, and I am very much aware that I'm talking to myself, but I'm like, God told me to do it. And then I just start dropping gems and I'm like, I can take this live and repost it on YouTube. And when it is ready to be consumed, because I don't get no views on YouTube either. I don't get no views nowhere. I'm like, God, you got me showing up and doing this work. Who am I doing it for? Myself? It feels good to me because this is my calling in life. So I don't have to sit and just theorize in my head anymore. I can actually theorize outwardly. So there's that. But I'm just like, okay, God, where's the audience? So I'm there. I'm there with your friend. I'm there. It was a cosplay. Okay, this one. I don't think Adam was made first. I think, well, first of all, I've heard that story is not true. But let's say it is. I rock with Adam and Eve. I don't know nothing else. Honestly, I am more in the comedic science, predating Egypt. That is truly what I believe to be true, but I don't know it. I haven't researched it, so I ain't speaking on it. But, the gods and the goddess and the Orishas, God and goddess, I believe that is European terminology, but the Orishas, that is where I am leaning towards my belief system. But God is God to me, so this is a holy book, and there is stuff in here for us that can help us live our lives in accordance to how we are structuring our lives. So let's run with Adam and Eve because I'm here for it. I do believe Adam was created first simply because look at men. Like, God was like, man, I fucked that one up. And then he created women. So he created men and realized that, and I know this, God doesn't do anything that's not perfect, but let's look at men. Like, that was a fub. So would he create perfection first and then fub? Or would he fub and then create perfection? Because I do believe women are perfection. I do. I believe that we are leaders of men. And that doesn't have anything to do with sexuality or any of those things. I just believe that women naturally, because we navigate in the higher chakras. Well, the higher chakras is your feminine energy. So we all have access to it, male and female. But if our higher chakras consist of the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the pineal gland or the third eye, your connectivity to higher source, the crown chakra, and this is feminine energy, females have connection to source naturally. Like, we are more God than men are. Why? Because we are in our femininity and then pushed into our masculinity. And most of us live in our masculinity because this is our survival mode. But as we come into our femininity, we come into our divinity. And this is why God created woman second. Because Adam's down here. And he needed the woman to help him connect to source. But I rock with it either way. We ain't arguing. This is, hey, tell me your theory. I'm curious. Okay, this one. And therapists cannot diagnose family. Yeah, there's layers to this, y'all. There's layers to this. Keep getting on live. Post a video, then go live. It may help. So, yeah, I watch the video too. I post right before I go live because I post at 7 a.m. when I wake up to take the kids to school. Well, I don't take them to kids. The dad takes them to school this year. This the first year the dad is taking the kids to school. And I'd be like, I'll be purposefully asleep. I ain't taking these damn kids to school this year. But I post my first video at 7. 4 hours later, I post my next video is right before I go live. So I post right before I go live. And all of those tips and tricks do not help for me. They don't help for me. I go live every single day and I don't have more than 2 or 3 views at a time. The most I've had is 5. So all of those tips and tricks don't really work for me. Oh, but you actually added somebody, so you weren't even talking to me, so let me move on. I don't know why I needed this, but I kind of did today. Thank you for your time. You are so welcome, Eva. This is what we do. This is what we do. We heal each other. So you're welcome. Thank you, because you really helped me as well. Originals were probably all female. Male could have been modified creatures later on. You think so? I'm going to sit on that one. Because I just think they're such an inferior being. Ain't no way they could have been we first, me. And then you made that? Were you drunk? How you going to go from, all of this, and then you make that? I keep pointing to my husband's side of the bed. And then you make a man. Like, nah. I mess with it, though. I'll mess with all of it. I'll definitely give that a shot. Thank you. You're welcome. I am still asking God why and all of them. Oh. Me too. I didn't see nothing good. I learned that I channeled mine too. I wrote it to help myself heal when I was ready. I wrote this book to help heal myself when I was ready. And the beautiful thing is, because we document everything, because we journal, because we're documenting our lives so that there is a living document of our history. So at the very least, stop stretching the neck of your shirt, dear. I know, but don't stretch your neck.
Over here.
I know, so pull your arm out instead of stretching the neck out. Pull your arm out. There's a living document, because at the very least, your grandchildren would love to read your journal and find out who you were, right? We tell all these stories about our mothers. Oh, dang, you are messed up. Oh, that's eczema, kiddo. Go get the, I'll help you in a second. I'll make you a doctor's appointment. That's not good. Don't scratch it, though, if you could try. I'll help you in a second.
Okay.
Thank you for showing me. What was I talking about? I learned that I channel. Oh yeah. So yeah. At the very least, your legacy will want to know you. You know what I'm saying? And cross, Eva, you don't have kids, but maybe if you have nieces and nephews or anybody, you know what I'm saying? You lived. Like Beyonce said, I was here. I was fucking here. You're going to know I walked this earth. I don't care. They trick us into believing we don't fucking matter. They trick us into believing we're on this earth. No. I walked this fucking earth, and you are going to know it, period. And that is for everybody. My daughter, she wrote me a letter, because I told you they're writing me letters now. And she was talking about, you think you're better than everybody else. I was like, I am. But me being better than everyone else isn't me compared to anyone. I just know I'm fucking greatness. Everyone should know their greatness. Can't nobody do you better than you. Can't nobody touch you, period. And once you know that, you're constantly turning yourself over and becoming the best version of yourself, because can't nobody do you better. So hell yeah, I'm better. Not compared to nobody else but myself. And you get to that space within yourself, because you know every time you show up to your highest capability. Every time I mother to my highest capability. Every time I wife to the highest of my capabilities. Every time I friend, every time. Can y'all get out? No, I want you out. Okay. Okay, out and don't come back. I do it all to the best of my ability. Who can do it better if I'm doing my best? So it's not me versus anyone else. This is me being the best version of me. Not me versus me. Me, best version of me. Version of me. Add it to cart. I appreciate you, sus. Please start the book club again at some point. After I finish the Bible, I think that I'm just going to read online, and I think I will start the book club. It may be behind paid doors, though, because we about to really get into this. Like, we really about to, for real. So I might, because y'all need the decoder ring, right? You need that one-on-one. I'm sorry, but you do. If you knew how to heal yourself, you'd be doing it. I know how. So we need to actually sit down and have some conversations, but it has to be a willing mind and heart in order to, and solar plexus, because you got to drop the ego. You can't be so prideful. Especially I come in the room reading you and you're just like, oh, I'm so exposed. But it is that exposure and that willingness to be vulnerable in front of another sis, because sis can help you, and now you can truly be vulnerable, and we're not trauma bonding, we are healing in that vulnerability. And again, you don't have to take, like grandma, we taking the meat and leaving the bones. Now we can do the work. And then we come back together next week and we talk about the work, and we have our next assignment. And then we talk about the work and we have our next assignment. This is what the fuck we need to be doing. I just hate being out here by myself. Like friend asked, how can you do it? I've started and stopped many things. This is my biggest audience, y'all. These two people that I see in here reading the Bible, this is my biggest audience. It make me feel so good when I click on and y'all immediately click in. I was like, oh, y'all been waiting for this Bible. Okay. I might book a coaching session just because I love different ideas. Hop in, sis, let's go. Is it odd that I don't want followers expect music stuff? I love teaching music. It's not odd. You have your target demographic. And honestly, followers mean nothing. I have 12,000 followers, but my videos only have 200 views. Followers mean nothing. People hit follow, be like, oh, I like what you said. Boop, follow, and never watch your content again. So it's just an empty number. You actually want people who will consume your content because you're a teacher. I know that teacher spirit because I'm a teacher too. Like we ain't here for the quantity. We're here for the quality. I kept swiping off when I'm trying to double tap. Hey, you better stay in this live, girl. I'm that person too. I will drop off a live. I was that kid. Work with them. We turned out okay. He said yes first. You are so patient. I am trying to find some. It's a work in progress. It used to be where you've been on live, I'm sure, where I'm like, all right, y'all, I gotta go. Because these kids is, they testing my gangster, But there was a point in time where I would just, cut out me redirecting my kids because it was so harsh. And it's crazy because it was a softer approach, and there would still be people saying, I can't believe you're recording this or letting this be seen. And I was just like, oh, this easy work compared. Yesterday, I was talking to Angel in response to her letter because she wrote me a letter. I was like, let's go through this line by line and discuss it. She's like, but you sound mad. I was like, I'm not mad. We having a conversation. I was like, if this is mad, I'm winning, because my mad used to be way much more than this. So this is a work in progress, my friend. But I appreciate it. I love it. LOL. God damn it. I need to stop saying that. Thank you, Ree. LOL. I can't believe I was that bad. I know I was, though. I was... These kids, y'all. That's all I can say. Thank you, Ree. As a former minister of music, yes, it is just a Band-Aid. Yes, we don't do Band-Aids no more. Not in 2024. We can't afford to move in Band-Aids. Not when our lives literally are dependent on our healing. Our ability to heal ourselves, and because we can heal ourselves and we are clocking ourselves, now we can replicate that in the next generation. That's how imperative this is. We, this present generation, is learning the skills so that we can transfer it to the next generation. And if we transfer nothing, we transfer the next generation of brokenness. And that's not what we want. We must equip ourselves so that we can equip the next generation and break this curse finally. You know, we've been enslaved since they brought us to this country. We've been tricked into believing who and what we are. What we believe to be Black excellence is truly just us chasing their vision of what excellence is. Black excellence is truly creating love. Borderless, boundless love. That is Black excellence. Truly laughing together, truly uplifting each other, seeing yourself in each other, growing each other. Somebody posted a flyer that said if you're looking for a personal assistant, and it was their little ad, and they were like, share. I was like, how many people are looking at this and they're not sharing it because there's no benefit to them? We won't share somebody else's stuff because it's no benefit to us. But if we shared someone else's stuff simply because we're helping them grow, this is your tithe, right? We pay our tithes. We give every chance we get. So share. Why? Because you're putting that energy out there. So when you need something to be shared, that specific person may not share, but because you are in the energy of it, you're going to be carried as well. So this is why we show up for each other, and that is Black excellence. You know, I can't remember what the frame of reference is, but somebody was, I said something to the effect of, we can't get hired because the person hiring doesn't look like us. But the reason why someone who looks like us can't hire us is because we won't support them. We can't become a Walmart because we won't allow it. Because we can't see someone who looks like us win. We are going to be crabs in the barrel to the end until we wake up to the fact that we are fucking crabs in the barrel. Every time you don't support someone that looks like you in any way that you can, that is crab in the barrel mentality. It's no skin off your back. What's it going to hurt you to let a video play and take your ass to the bathroom, and when it's finished, click on the next video? What's it going to hurt you? But what's it going to help them? So the what's in it for me is, watching this video is going to do nothing for me potentially. But giving this person a spin and helping them achieve something that they're working to achieve, I know somebody in the background that I don't even know exists is going to be helping me achieve something that I'm working to achieve. Do you understand? Stop looking for a direct payback from the energy you put out. Just know if you're putting that energy out, it's coming back, period. God's word doesn't return void. Never has, never will. Never thought about it like this. Okay, there was this cool book series by L.A. Banks that is just fiction, and it is the best. I think this app might throttle content too. Man, bump this app. This app doesn't like me, but this is where my community is. It irks my soul. But yeah, this app don't like me. Well, when I get to the Adam and Eve question, the Adam and Eve question. Yeah, good old Adam and Eve. You're welcome. I love a living document. Yeah, I love a living document. You have to. What I tell the kids is keep a timeline. Keep a timeline of events. At the end of your day, just write down 3 things that happened that you remember. Insignificant, don't matter. Because as you keep that timeline of events, you'll realize how if you actually go through that timeline of events, you're like, yo, this thing that happened today, I can see how it started being set up 3 months ago. Because this led to this, led to this, led to this, led to this, led to this. And now you start to actually see, not hear, because, oh yeah, we're being led through life, but you actually get to see that you are being led through life. Step it up a bit further, and at the end of your day, just write down what you went through. And if you want to start healing yourself, I teach you how to do it in the book. If you really want to start healing yourself, today I caught Lonnie Appleton on live. It was Bible study. She got me to listen to the Bible. Who, what, when, where, and why, and whatever the sixth one is. Write, journal from that perspective and start digging into yourself. How did it make me feel? Who was the person? Why did I stop and listen to this chick? What was she talking about? Why what she was talking about was something that made me stop and have a conversation with her. And I mentioned my mom and my grandma in there. Why did they enter the chat? Why were those important? I'm just theorizing. Who, what, when, I was just sitting on my couch bored doing nothing. I'm usually doing something at this time, but I wasn't doing nothing at this time. Ain't that something crazy? Why? Who, what, when, why? Why did I show up? Why did I stay for the hour and 2 hours she was on live? Like, I was captivated. I'm usually on and off, but I stayed in that motherfucker. Why? Who, what, when, why, how? How did it make me feel? Like, so, this is how you start healing yourself. You start asking questions and you drill down until you get some fucking answers. And whatever you receive, that's where the work starts. And then you're like, oh, I think this is where I need to work on. Like right now I'm being taught patience. I'm being taught, that's why when you say you're so patient, that's the classroom I'm in right now. So I appreciate it. I'm being taught patience, and I'm being taught how to restructure how I speak, because I told my Shifu, and that's my teacher. I told Shifu, I was like, look, I don't have low self-esteem, but I still carry the language of low self-esteem. So I have to switch up how I completely communicate. I have to learn a completely different language. Yes, I'm speaking English, but I'm speaking a totally different vibration. So I have to teach myself how to speak and conduct myself at the vibration that I am taking myself to, instead of using the lower vibrational language and saying, oh, no, don't get caught up on the language. No, I'm going to get caught up on the language, because you're not going to speak spells over me that are not taking me to where I need to go. Keep your language. Until you learn how to speak to me, don't say nothing to me. So I am in particular classrooms. Why did I get this feedback? Why did they buck up to me? Why did that bother me? And that's how we heal. I am writing on my experiences in my job and within the music industry. Do it, friend. Do it. And then publish it and sell it. That's what I got 8 journals over there. You don't think I'm publishing every single one of them up because I'm selling them? I am solving world problems in my journals. Like, I sit and I download craziness. I can't sit and write a book, but I could journal for hours. And when I journal for hours, once I finish that journal, I'm gonna publish it. Publish your life, sis. Somebody will buy it. Which instruments do you play? I played piano for churches in my teens and 20s. I can't play. I had a clarinet, but I couldn't afford reeds. So once my little first pack of reeds was gone, I stopped playing the clarinet. Exactly. This is why I love golf and music. I am only in competition with myself. Oh, sis is cultured. She plays golf and music. And we got a cultured one with us, y'all. We got artists, we got musicians, and we got golfers. We're so cultured over here. I'm just joking. I love it. Through my 20s, mostly guitar, but as a whole, 12 love woodwinds. Y'all talking a whole nother language, but I'm thinking a clarinet is a woodwind. Just like I needed assistance decoding the Bible. I'm happy we are here to decode the Bible together, because every time I read this thing, I was just like, because at this point, all this killing God doing, I'm over it. I'm like, whew. Like in the past, I'd like, this too much. That's what my son said. He was like, I had to put the Bible down in the Old Testament because it was just too much. It's heavy. It's heavy. I picked up a guitar a time or two, never learned though. Me neither. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. Never understood a word he said, but we always had a mighty fine time. Something in that made me sing that song. It's fun. It takes a bit to learn. Just fell in love with the instrument. Agreed. Even if we don't have kids. I remember those class projects from way back when you buried some things. Yeah, my daughter has a time capsule in our backyard. And music lyrics are also a journal. Not that I will make a song about this, but the idea is cool. Yeah. I wrote my first book in elementary school. It was called The Sun and the Moon. This is the kind of wavelength I'm on. My teacher teaches us how to write books. It's the curriculum. And this is when I fell in love. This is how I know I'm an author, right? No, I'm a storyteller. I'm not an author. I'm not an anything. I'm not an artist. This is my art. This is my art. This is my art. Reading, this is my art. Everything is artistic expression to me. I'm not going to put myself into a particular box, right? Spirit just said, and your music isn't just instruments. You are music. Your creative expression is music. Whatever your creative, because we're creators, right? So whatever your creative expression is, that is your expression. You know what I'm saying? We can't box ourselves in anymore and to say, because I'm not actually creating, I'm not actually creating wood pieces anymore, I'm not an artist. No, I'm still an artist. My creative expression just is manifesting in a different way. But I forgot what I was talking about. In music lyrics, okay, music lyrics are a journal. I wrote a book in elementary school. That's when I learned that I'm a writer and a storyteller. And the first book that I wrote, I was like, I won't even say the third grade. I can't remember what teacher had me write. It might have been the fourth grade. Elementary school, definitely. Anyway, the book was called, but it was on those big line papers. Y'all know the little elementary big line papers. And so it was whatever grade you used, the big line papers. And I just like to emphasize how young I was, because this is the type of book that I wrote then. It was called The Sun and the Moon. I gave it to my mom and she kept everything. And my heart's not broken, but I really wish she had kept that book. Anyway, and the whole premise of the book was the sun and the moon used to come out at the same time every day. And, you out here shining, I'm out here shining. We can't shine at the same time. And so they came to a compromise to where the sun would come out in the day and the moon would come out at night. And so, that's what I'm writing in the first, second, third grade, The Sun and the Moon. That was my first book. After that, I wrote music. No. After that, I wrote poetry. And so I would express myself. I read some of my poems now, and I'm just like, you was in the trenches, sis. I ain't gonna talk about the stuff I used to write about. But yeah, I was in the trenches, and that was my creative expression at the time. I actually should go read my poetry now that I know not to judge myself and to actually read it, to just see that's where I was. Accept yourself, self-acceptance, childhood trauma healing. Now that I read my lyrics, I did poetry, and then after I did poetry, I wrote music because my cousin was singing, so I would write songs for her. And so I would write music, and then after I wrote music, I wrote books. And now I just journal for hours. Like, I really have to set a timer because I'm just like, okay, you cannot journal for longer than an hour. My whole day will be gone because I'm just sitting there downloading, like, and the way that I talk, how I jump from subject to subject to subject to subject, I write that way. And so I stopped pressuring myself to speak like everyone else. When I first got on TikTok, people would be like, how come you never stick to the same subject? Because I'm not rehearsed. Because I understand that everything has a dot connection. I understand that this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this. This is how I'm able to heal myself, because while I'm talking about this, I know that it directly relates to this. But if I'm only focused on this, I ain't never gonna look at this. So we must allow ourselves to jump and make those connections and figure out, okay, this, okay. 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 Get to the root, pull that bitch up, move on. And the beautiful thing is once you figure out one thing about yourself, that one thing is connected to a zillion things, so you actually heal a zillion things. Man. Teaching adults has tested the mess out of patients, so I get it. Yeah. How about teaching black women? I laugh all the time because I'm like, God, you called me to teach the most difficult demographic out there. And that is not a hateful statement at all. That is you know how we get down. We are the most prideful, difficult, my way or the highway people out there. And God called this, dread head, no makeup wearing, family halfway falling off the earth right now. You chose me. And my students are black women. Whew. Pray for me, church. So yeah, I get it. I have to look up the recourse. Heart emojis. Okay, I'm getting close. Yes, the clarinet is a woodwind. I never learned that one. Saxophone was my jam. Do you remember that we're the same age. So do you remember that Simpsons where I can't remember who broke Lisa's saxophone, broke Lisa's saxophone, but Homer was like, look, it's not broken, look, saxophone. It makes me laugh. That sounds cool. I made comics way back in the day. Oh, that's cool. Voice is music, exactly. When I heard you hum, I caught that vibrato. Oh. My voice. How did you know that young? How did you know that young? I came to this earth to do what I do. But it wasn't until the technology caught up to it. We had to be in a space energetically to be receptive to it. The Black Girl Follow train for me literally was a portal that I walked through. And I entered into a whole nother world. I don't even exist in the world that I was in prior to the Black Girl Follow train. I entered into a sacred space. So this is a sacred space. That's why you're rarely going to see haters. This is why it's so slow to grow. This is how I make sense of it. This is why it's so slow to grow, because it's a sacred space and only certain people can enter into this space. That's why I'm just like, my content is like, if I had the Shade Room audience, they would eat me alive because I go against the grain in every possible way. But because this is a sacred space that only the few that are ready to enter can come into, we are protected. We are divinely protected. It's like when the Israelites were traveling through from Egypt, God was like, during the day, I will create a shield between you and the Egyptians so they can't even see you. And by night, I will become a pillar of light for you to follow. So God illuminated the Israelites, and the Egyptians were in the dark, couldn't see nothing. And in the day, God got in between them, so the Egyptians couldn't even see him then. So the work that we're out here doing, only those who are vibrationally ready can see and even access what we got going on. Therefore, the numbers are going to do what the numbers do. And I have to be okay with that. It's difficult because I'm trying to be on stage in front of tens of thousands and be like, yo, let's get this healing started. Hey, let's get it started. I'm trying to heal the masses. But what we doing over here, this ain't mass produced. This is for real. And it's going to come. It's going to come. I just have to trust it's going to come. And we are the first few, right? We the first few, right? We built this. I didn't build this. If you didn't show up, I would not be here. And not you specifically, but you specifically. If y'all didn't show up, even though there's 3 of you here that I can see, if y'all didn't show up, I would have been gone an hour ago. You are why I show up. It ain't gotta be millions. As long as I know when I click go live at 12 p.m. and y'all popping in like, let's go, we ready for Bible study. When hopping in my DMs talking about, yo, have I missed Bible study or you ain't been going live? Like, you're missed. I'm like, oh, okay. It may only be 3, but them 3, they here. So I owe it to them. I owe it to myself. I'm thankful to them. Because if they weren't there, if you weren't here, I'll be over here journaling. My hand be cramping. Y'all journal so much. So I appreciate every single one of you. I truly do. I just made a comic about a guy named Jen. It was about karate when I was in the 2nd grade. That is awesome. Sold them for 25 cents and was able to buy other students' milk. Look at, I love your heart. I love your heart. You're one of us. Welcome. You're one of us. Well, I can't lie about this one. Oh. Yes, I do. It was Bert. Yeah, that one. I think that's how I ended up following you, that train. Oh, yeah, the Black Girl Follow train. We all got connected through the Black Girl Follow train, but we didn't pay attention to each other's content. Well, I did, because in the beginning I was trading view for view. But, we really didn't pay each attention, and that's why follows don't matter. Follows don't matter because people are just pressing follow, but are they really consuming the content? And my content is that which needs to be consumed. Like, we healing. That's why when someone, I don't know how it came to my field of awareness, but I was like, y'all really out here watching my videos for entertainment? Like, that hurts my feelings. Like, I love that you're entertained by me. I'm happy that my little jig is exciting you, but at the end of the day, like, we growing. Like, we got shit to do. We got generational curses to break. We got relationships to heal. We got marriages to save. We got relationships with our children to heal. I was definitely on the road to my kids only coming around. My child, Ezra, only comes over for holidays, birthdays, and any other visit pops in because they're on their way somewhere and our house is in between. I don't want that with my children. I want my children to be like Bailey, to where I ain't moving out. Why do you have to? Why do you have to go out there to struggle? Go on, stay home, chill, and let's make the environment okay so that you can be okay being here. But you know how we be treating our grown-ass kids. My 25-year-old live here too. And he was miserable, but that's a whole nother story. He ain't my bio, so I can't get into him but this last week, y'all, I told Spirit I ain't gonna talk about it, so I ain't gonna talk about it. It's gonna be in the book. But what I'm saying is this last week, test me, gangsta. Test me now. No, that's my Jamaican accent. It was some crazy sauce, man. But in that craziness, I was able to sit down with my son, my stepson, but sit down with my son and like, okay, look, this wall that we have between us, we got to work this out. I'm tired of it. He's like, yeah, I'm looking to get me a truck driving job so I don't got to be in this house. I was like, that's not the energy we need to be under. So what do we need to do? And he told me his standard with care, a handle with care instructions. And I was like, okay, I can move in that. And so I've been working to move in that energy. Not working, I'm in that energy. When something clicks in my head where I'm just like, okay, boom, new me, who this? I'm not in that old energy no more. And there's really nothing that he can do to trigger me back into that old energy because I made sense of it. You know, we fake it because we haven't made sense of it. We haven't made those connection points, those anchor points. We haven't made it matter to us. So we pretend and we do things, which is what a particular demographic of my family has been doing. They haven't made sense of it, so they just been playing along. So that's why these videos that I'm publishing where I talk about my family is fake. These people who just playing along. And I was playing along too because they playing along. So I can't be authentic because you inauthentic. I could be authentic once you become authentic. Because I can't be, authenticity is being 100% in. I'm here, I'm open. There's no more walls between us. I can't do that with some of my family members. My stepson was one of those people. And I keep identifying stepson because he is not my child. Shut my door, please. Because he's not my bio child, I can't reach into him. Please shut my door. I can't reach into him like I can my own children. But I also know that he was brought into my life because I'm supposed to be a teacher in his lifetime. And I told him, I was like, look, I see deficits in you. And this isn't me picking on you. You're going to be another woman's headache. Why? Because you get on my fucking nerves. Which means from the female perspective, the deficits that I see can easily be fixed if you take my feedback. Now, what you're telling me is the way that I'm delivering this feedback is problematic. I will correct that. But you must listen to what I'm saying. Because it is not something that I will stand by idly do is raise a man. Just because you're 25, no one raised him to his highest capability, i.e. teaching him how to raise himself to his highest capability, because who knows how to raise themselves? I do. Pick up the book. But you got deficits, and the deficits you have are little penny ante stuff. Like, put your shoes up. Don't just kick them in the middle of the floor. Why everywhere I go, I see socks? Your wife is going to despise you. And you think you're being petty. Yeah, I am. And it's not me being petty. It's me desiring structure. You don't want, if I left these socks here. Say we have an infinite supply of socks, right? Which means I never have to wash your socks in order for you to have new socks, right? Or you don't have to wash your socks because everybody could do laundry. And you left your socks everywhere and nobody picked them up because somebody's got to pick them up. Might as well be you, right? They're your socks. But nobody picks them up because it's petty. Do you understand that this floor will be covered in socks? Is that how you want to live? And why do I have to be the person to pick up your socks? Why can't you pick up your own socks? Because you value a clean environment as well, right? So it's coming to a space of being able to communicate these expectations to where you don't. So this is me leveling up and learning how to speak a completely different new language. And how that came about was from this. Conflict. My stepson and my son, not my son, same person, but my son telling me, yeah, I don't have a problem with what you're saying. It's how you saying it. You tripping. And I had to keep refining. And each time I'm refining, I'm like, you a grown ass man, nigga. Why I got to tippy toe around your ass and your feelings? Grow a pair is what I'm thinking. But also after I get out my feelings, I'm like, keep refining because my stepson is preparing me to go out into the world and speak to the world because the world has different levels of sensitivity. I can't come in this to say with your chest energy. That ain't for everybody. Some people are at different levels, so I can speak, and he's teaching me through this. You understand? Adversity, the devil gets 0 credit in my life. Anything that happens in my life, God gonna make for good. So from this, I'm learning how to speak to people. I'm learning to have that sensitivity. I'm learning how for my message to be accepted versus rejected simply because of the way it was delivered. I really want to know how that miracle worked. I love keeping my peace. I think that's how I ended up following you. Oh man, yes. And that would be okay. Heart emojis. You know what? Tomorrow I will post some music I am going to work on. Eva, just DM me. Now don't get crazy with it. DM me your stuff. send it in a message. I'll go watch your video. I don't have time to go and enjoy you guys' content, but I enjoy it when I happen across it. But if there's something you want me to experience and you're creative, don't just send it to me. You gave me some courage. Yay, that's why you're here. See, you didn't know why you stayed here. It's always in the end that I always find I get my message at the end. It's so funny. I will sit through a whole conversation and the last 5 words they say, I'm like, this is good or that is good. This is a reason I don't date men with kids, because this the last. Because the whole baby mama drama, my God. We only have peace from her because she disappeared. I think she disappeared 2 years ago. A year or 2 ago, she disappeared. Nobody knows where she is. That is the only reason why I have a relationship with my stepchildren. And that's the only reason why we have peace. The lady literally dropped off the face of the earth. Ain't that something? You got to disappear off the face of the earth for people to get peace from you? Yeah, so yeah, this will be my first and my last relationship with a man with kids. And yes, I'm bringing all 4 of mine because I got mine in check and I don't move in drama. But yeah, I don't think Dre will be a crazy baby daddy. I told my stepbrother, hold on, I lost it. I told my stepbrother when he was having issues with his kids, bring him here, bro. We are going to garden with my dad and we will study after. Amen. You know I can't. Will you consider making your page public? Oh, she's private? Listen, I went in on the Passport Bros. Oh, the Passport Bros. Oh my God. The whole culture. The hate within us. Let me get my journal real quick. There is a reason for the private thing because I told them about themselves. Oh, you had to go. You threw a bomb. You threw a grenade. And then private it real quick. Hold on. We are just sharing and communing. This isn't typical Bible study. Bible study usually ends at 1 o'clock, but we're here. I have a whole theory in here of why black men and black women can't get along. Pretty much the watered down version of it is black men are raised by black women. Typically. This is all typical. I'm not speaking all encompassing. Everybody has their variations, but we're speaking typically. And I'm speaking candidly. So it may not be pretty, but let's get this out. So basically I told them about the laws and how they would be looking at, and it came to be true. See, they don't like the truth, friend. All right. So black men were raised by black women, but if we think about black women historically, how they raise their children, they are tyrants. And I can speak for myself. I was a tyrant. Now, sons also love their mother. They idolize their mother. That's the first woman in their lives. So, outside of the Oedipus complex, which is the complete pervasive side of it, where you fall in love with your parent, your parent is your first experience in a relationship energy. You know what I'm saying? They're your first friend. They're your first everything. They should be creating your standard by the way that they treat and care for you. So your standard of care instructions are initially created by your parent. Your primary parent, regardless if it's a 2-parent household or not, is typically your mother, a black woman. So a black man is raised by a black woman, but the black woman, depending on how she feels, is just either loving him to pieces or tearing his ass apart. And so now these black men grow up and they're dating these black women and they automatically have a bias against them. Why? Because they have a bias against their mothers that they never address, and they'll never address because how can I say that I don't like my mother? How can you like someone who beats on you and talks to you any kind of way? Well, because she does all these beautiful things to me, but she also beats on you and talks to you any kind of way. So now he marries a black woman because he respects the black woman, but he still has a bias against her because the black woman, who was also raised by a black woman, she watched her mother and how she dealt with men. And so because nothing else has been presented as a way to function in a relationship, the black little girl is now a black woman who is now with a black man who treats him similarly to his mother. We have to have a connection point. Remember, when we go for trauma bonding, we either bond with someone who is right below what we're used to, or right above where we're used to. We don't go for anyone who is a high extreme, because I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, and I wouldn't do that, so it's always right here, right here, or right here. And so they meet that trauma point because you remind me of my mother. But what about her reminds you of the mother? So there's something about vibration. It's in my journal. I told you I'd be solving all kinds of problems in my journal. But there's something about vibrational frequency. So we vibrate on the same frequency. Dre and I vibrate at the same frequency at a point we don't right now. And so that's what attracted him into my field of awareness and me into his field of awareness, is because vibrationally I was familiar. My brand of trauma was what he's familiar with, because he's been abused by black women his whole life. And I just became the next abusive black woman. And it's just my form of abuse. I was talking to someone earlier. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been, but they were just saying, just because you don't yell at your kids the same way your parents yelled at you, just because you don't hit on your kids the same way your parents hit on you, doesn't mean that you're any better. Just because my abuse isn't putting cigarettes out on my husband, which happened to him, and calling him all kinds of derogatory names, which is what happened to him, doesn't mean that my abuse isn't abuse. But they seek that abuse because they are used to being the victim. So if you're a woman who doesn't abuse a man, he don't want you. He needs to hide behind your abuse in order to manifest his self-loathing, in order to manifest his own form of abuse, in order for all those things to manifest and for him not to look at himself and say, why am I living in this space? That's self-reflection. No, they can now exoteric inner, esoteric outward. They can now esoterically, I can't think of the word except for that's the word, but that's not the word I want to use, but Shifu gave me that one. Esoterically project outside of themselves and say, I am experiencing this level of self-hate because of you. So now I can hide behind you. There's so much behind this black woman and black man dynamic that I uncovered, and this is just the beginning of it. But we as mothers of black boys, we as aunties of black boys, need to set the highest possible standard, because we are creating the next woman's husband. And because we are speaking to them at the level that they deserve to be spoken to, now when they go to couple, that verbally abusive black woman that he typically would have attracted to, because that's what he's used to, that verbal abuse, and his spirit is so broken that he must hide behind, I can't admit that my spirit is broken. No, I feel this way about myself because you keep talking to me that way. Well, how about you stop talking that way? Now you still feel like that. Who you blaming now? Which is what we're experiencing right now in my home. I stopped talking to my husband any kind of way. For a period of time, please no, shut my door. For a period of time, my husband was actually out here arguing with himself. And he would ask me, why aren't you arguing with me anymore? Because I'm done arguing, but I still didn't know how to change how I spoke. Please shut my door. I still didn't know how to change how I spoke. So now I stopped speaking, and now I'm reprogramming myself and learning a new language, and now my husband is left in his self-hate. And he can't blame me anymore. So that's what's happening, is we as primary caregivers are setting such a filthy example of what a black woman is. And we are excellence, y'all. We are fucking excellence. Like, you're a black woman, like, fucking crown looking ass. But we don't move in that energy 100% of the time. And that's why our men have a love-hate relationship with us, because we were their first tormentors, but we were also their first lovers. And so they resent us and love us at the same equal capacity. The passport bros, they hate us more than they love us. The ones that love us more are the ones that are with us, because they could withstand it. But why do they have to? I don't want to be tolerated. I don't want to be tolerated. Mom is like, y'all talking about me? I smell it in the air. So yeah, that's a theory that I'm working on. These passport bros, and it's all by design, right? It's all by design for us to always be at each other's head. Like, we can't come together, and it just pains me. Like, I get it. That's the surface, right? Yes, slavery. Yes. But when are we going to stop allowing that to manifest in our homes today? Well, first we have to know how, which is the content, right? But it pains me to see us stop at slavery. Yeah, they planted the seed then. That shit's still manifesting in 2024. Wasn't that the most brilliant plan? Caucasians ain't did much, but they said the trap of the trappiest traps that we are still caught in today by choice now. We didn't have no choice then, but we got a choice now. There's a reason for the private thing. Okay, understood. So basically I told them about the laws. Now will I come back to petty? No. I'm about to run today. Has been great. As always, nice to meet you, Eva. We're connected now. Yay! Lonnie hubby is taking me on a date. Oh, yes. Let's go, hubby. Yes, I love it. Nice to meet you also. Lovely to meet you. Yeah, our community's awesome, Eva. And that's how you create a narcissist. Real talk. Also part of my studies for my degree. Ooh, I'm so happy I connected with you, Eva. Another smart member of our community. I'm still praying about my graduate degree. Oh, man, the graduate. Is that a PhD? I got my master's. I'm done. They could miss me on any type of formal education outside of this. I used to be an education junkie because I was afraid to start, and so I would just go and collect degrees. I go and collect certifications. That's why I'm a cosmetologist. I'm a teacher. I'm an artist, or not. I am an artist. I'm an author. I'm all these different things because I used to just be chasing. I was caught in a cycle of starting things and then quitting before the moment I felt resistance. This is the first time to also answer the question that was asked earlier. This is the first time that even though I'm here and there's only 2 people on my live, I'm still showing up. Because all the other things that I've done in the past, no one shows up, I stop showing up. How can God bless you if you're not in the room to be blessed? You know, so that whole Jay-Z thing, keep showing up. God cannot, thank you for the love. God cannot bless you if you don't show up. So I'm going to keep showing up. And this actually feeds my soul. Like, this feeds me. This charges my battery. So if anything, I'm showing up for selfish reasons. Being able to share my thoughts and ideas feeds me. But I would love for there to be an audience in large magnitude to also share in that energy. Definitely. Wanted to be a therapist for police officers because when I tell you how many DV happens in the home, yep. I wanted to be a therapist and a psychologist, but I was like, I'm not getting a PhD in order to make money. And I went to go be a teacher. I never made more than $30,000, $40,000 with 2 jobs being a teacher, but I didn't want to be a therapist when honestly that's what I am. I'm a therapist. Now I'm a life and relationship coach, but time will tell. All right, friends, I have enjoyed every second of this. Thank you guys. Teachers and therapists are therapists to me. That's why I became a teacher, because I was just like, my heart's desire was to be not a life coach, to be an inspirational speaker, like a Les Brown or a, yes. I can't think of her name, but in my 20s, those were the people who were hot on the scene. Lisa Nichols, those were the people who were hot on the scene. So I wanted to be them, but I didn't know how to become it. I'm about to get off. And so I wanted to become them, but I didn't know how. So I became a teacher. I did so much therapy in my classrooms. So did I. I definitely still have students today who contact me. And I realized I never taught ABCs 1, 2, 3. I was teaching how to navigate this life. All right, y'all. I will be back. What is today? Saturday, Sunday. I work Monday. I will be back Tuesday. Tuesday, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It is presently 2:30, so 2.5 hours ago. I will be here on Tuesday at noon to read the Bible. It's getting good, y'all. Well, I will send you a song my mom sang. Please do. Just hop in my DMs, friend. We are all in it together. All right, y'all. Have a great day.